Boom, 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 boom.
Making derivative still.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hey, hello, and happy Halloween! I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations, number 82. And so we're continuing through our special journey through all of the episodes of Star Trek, the original series, in production order. We're on the third episode of Season 3, The Paradise Syndrome. And it's also the third episode in broadcast order, so it lines up with that one at least. First airing on October 4th, 1968.
Delightful.
And today we have Scotty R37. How are you doing today?
I'm spooky.
Halloween. Great. Pop culture curator couldn't be here today because of a very important doctor appointment that he's going to. I'm glad he's putting health first, and I hope we hear something good from this appointment. Hopefully, I'm keeping my paying attention to the news on that. Anyway, I do know that he wants you all to know that he is happy. This is at least one of the 2 episodes this season that is filmed on location.
Yes.
And
which is nice.
Oh yeah, it is.
What is the lake? What is it's a lake.
It is a lake. Let's see, I have a book here. It can
Yeah.
tell me what this is. This is Franklin Canyon Reservoir in Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles. It's one of the
California.
largest freshwater reservoirs in Los Angeles. And it also provides the scenery for the opening sequence to the Andy Griffith Show, which is a thing I never watched.
Yeah, it was too violent for me.
It was too violent? Really?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah. All the domestic abuse and the police brutality. I can't watch the Andy Griffith Show.
I have to take your word for it because I haven't seen this.
Please don't. Please don't take my word for this.
Hello in the chat to Franco Walker. He gave the first like.
Franco.
And also hey to Stone Racket. He says, I am the second to post. I am the 6th to hit the like button. But most important of all, I am Kirok.
Yeah. Do you want that to be my notification sound on my phone?
Is it? You could very easily make it. So
yeah,
I could send you the audio.
Sure.
Also, welcome, Sub Commander Tall. I never know when you're going to be able to join us, so really, I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. I like to keep everyone guessing. So yeah, no, thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It's always nice when Romulans decloak.
Yes, that's right. Decloaking for the spooky day.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. You guys show up in the next episode, the Enterprise incident, but oh well.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know. I kind of like all these third episodes now. So many of them I didn't like when I was younger, but this was one of them. But I kind of like this one now, so had to jump in.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
I've gone through much of my life thinking that way about the third season, but we're 3 episodes in and I'm still pretty happy.
Yeah.
I think a world of difference is made by watching these in production order, though.
Yeah, it definitely helps at the start of the third season, so you're not like confused when you see the Romulans with Klingon ships. You've already seen a Klingon ship before, and at least for that aspect, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, we know that they traded technology at some point. Snurdapoopus Cuber, hello. And also hello
Poopus.
to Matt G. Taylor Swift is greater than Disney Star Wars. And Gorilla's Random Thought says, hey everyone, can only lurk for a while until I'm out of the doghouse at work. And also Raymond Feliciano is here. His channel is King Dolphin TV, so make sure you're subscribed over there. He has some really great interviews with lots of cool creators.
Hey, Raymond.
Cool.
Yeah. And some Stone
Mirabani!
And hello to John Rupus. Hey. Also DJ
Whoa.
Playnux.
DJ.
Stone Rocket says, Jill, Scotty is always spooky. If you're going to the deep cloak, do not go cam life. So reference to production of these episodes come from the 365 book, which of course I learned from the Clobberin Times channel with Raquel Briggs. They have their Saturday night Star Trek at 9 p.m. Central, and you guys gotta check it out. We're in season 3 of Voyager over there.
You mentioned this was one of 2 that was filmed on location. I can't remember what the other one is from season 3 that was filmed on location. Did you mention it? I was logging in at that point.
Oh, that's a good question.
Why do I feel like we already did it?
No, we didn't. No, because the cowboy episode was not filmed on location.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like this was the last one. I mean, unless you count some of those, like, I think they went on some Paramount kind of like Renaissance sets for All Our Yesterdays to do the like Three Musketeers part. But I don't remember them being, maybe that was outdoors. I don't know. But this is the one that really feels like they're on location anyway.
I'm looking.
And actually, I mean, this episode, season 3 gets a bad rap because it's so cheap. I mean, the budget went down and, some of those episodes are practically radio shows, but this one is really big and broad with the location. And you've got that giant obelisk. And had a whole score written for it that was very particular to it. So it feels like a, big production values.
Yeah, I think there was a flute played by Gerald Fried in this episode. I better get the slides going so we can see that obelisk. And also, I read a bit from the Mark Cushman book. These are the Voyages. I read from that too. And so, let's see. Also, I'm going to read the synopsis from the 365 book so you guys can talk about any part of the episode you like. It's on a serene world threatened by an approaching asteroid. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy find a settlement of what appear to be transplanted Native Americans and a mysterious obelisk that could not have been constructed by the locals. While investigating the object, Kirk inadvertently triggers a trap door and falls into the obelisk's interior, where he is rendered unconscious by an energy jolt from a piece of alien technology. When he awakens, Kirk remembers nothing of his former life, and the friendly natives he encounters inform him that he is the god they have been awaiting. In the meantime, unable to find Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, Spock and McCoy return to the ship, which quickly leaves orbit in an effort to change the course of the asteroid before it's too late. And they already wasted a bunch of time looking for Kirk, so I don't know.
Well,
That
20
last part.
minutes.
Well, they had to waste more time than that because they end up having to blow out their engines just to get there. So I'm guessing that they really took extra time to look for Kirk, and then they were like, "Oh, it's too late now. We got to go."
A lot of Kirk
Yep.
goes missing this season.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to break up the dynamic a little bit. In the previous season, it's so much the big three, but you're right. There's a couple episodes like this in Tholian Web or even That Which Survives with Lucira, where Spock is left behind, but then it's just Kirk and McCoy. I am for you, Captain Kirk. That one. It's kind of interesting to break up that famous trio a little bit and just see a different dynamic.
Well, and this could be blasphemy to original series fans, but I think it was season 3 that actually made me sort of, as a kid, I really liked Spock. Obviously, he was sort of unique. But season 3 makes me really appreciate McCoy and Kirk. I just fell more in love with them as Spock does get more of a command position from episode to episode. And I'm just like, well, you know what? This whole logical thing, a little dry for my tastes.
Yeah, and he was especially dry in the 3rd season.
I wonder if that was just frustration, if that was something that was coming through on Leonard Nimoy's part, or if that was just the direction that the character took.
I don't know. I think some of it was the writing, but some of it, I think, these guys were pretty worn out at this point. And I think Nimoy was kind of, looking ahead. I think he still obviously does great performances, but there is something about season 3, not to turn this into like a season 3 retrospective, but something about it that's a little bit stodgy. It doesn't quite have sort of some of the twinkly kind of the humor that you get in season 2. It becomes a little more serious. And some of that I like. Some of it, I like that on the Tholian Web, but it can feel a little heavy sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's the loss of Gene L. Kuhn, who did bring more levity to the series in terms of how much he added that, and also Dorothy Fontana isn't script supervisor anymore.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, the friendships are more accentuated by we're missing someone and we care about them deeply, as opposed to them all interacting and having fun together.
Oh, hey, hello to Herc 130. Not
Flyboy.
joking, I am stuck in a car wash. Looks like the chain that pushes the cars broke.
Oh no.
This might be the end of Herc 130. Stay tuned. Uh-oh. That's scary.
It's unfortunate because I don't even think your radio works in a car wash.
What? Of course it does. I went on
Maybe it's Canadian car washes. They're all lined with lead.
No, I went to a haunted car wash one time during Halloween, and it required you to use your radio in order to blast out the spooky story or whatever they were doing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and Kapla to Bird of Prey 5, and thank you so much for becoming a member at the Plus C Nation Integrators level. That's awesome. That's another video I gotta do. And also some hangout streams I've been planning.
At this rate, you're going to have to rewrite "We Didn't Start the Fire," but with all of the members. Still
hello to
Bird of Prey. Anyway.
Hello, Pop Culture Curator. I hope your appointment goes really well. Sorry you couldn't be here.
Cheers, Pop.
Mm-hmm. And hello to Captain Fandom Nerd. Hey.
Fandom Nerd.
Oh, and Snortapoopus Cuber says that may very well be, but I am Burrock because he's a bear. in case you don't know,
I am Burrock.
Mm-hmm. And of course, he's responding to JT Kirk, who says,
So good.
And so the Paradise Syndrome first aired on October 4th, 1968. It was written by Margaret Arman, who also wrote Gamesters of Triskelion.
Hmm.
And it was directed by Judd Taylor, who was only 28 when replacing O'Harley to direct his very first Star Trek episode. He started off as an actor.
That's interesting because there was sort of a framing. There was only one shot, and I thought that it was framed very oddly. But and this is sort of an interesting happening throughout the series with the humanoids across many planets and the parallel development of biological life, and they do attempt to sort of explain it or posit some of the lore as to why that happens.
Yeah, that's right. They don't. Yeah, go ahead.
No, please, after you.
Well, no, I haven't seen this one in a little bit. I confess, so I don't remember exactly what they say. But rather than going with the whole parallel development thing, they're assuming there was some other race of aliens, or the preservers, or something that maybe seeded planets with humanoids throughout the galaxy. So they kind of have different ways of explaining this at different times. I mean, it all comes down to the fact that you can't dress people up like Horta on every single episode, so you got to have humanoids. But I like that they tried to find an in-universe explanation.
Yeah, that was a differentiation, and I enjoyed it too.
And it is something that
abduction thing.
There is not again, no pun intended, but they do seed it here, saying that the obelisk comes from the preservers, and that floods into beta canon in terms of, well, the Shatnerverse, but they do bring it up in other novels as well, talking about the ancient civilizations of the galaxy, these guys, the Iconians, and then when we get to the chase from season 6, those aliens who had deposited their genetic material to encourage evolution on proper worlds, Goldilocks planets. I'm sorry. Am I? I am.
Yeah. I really do like the chase. The chase is a pretty good TNG episode. I enjoyed it. I don't know if they are the preservers, but they're pretty similar.
And even Sargon says kind of the same thing in Return to Tomorrow. Perhaps your own stories of an Adam and an Eve were two of our travelers, that kind of thing. So it's a story we hear a lot. I like the chase too. I think it has a very TOS vibe to it. It's fun.
Yeah, it was also like a great race episode too, with everybody trying to solve whatever was going on. The Klingons, of course, were hoping it was a weapon or something.
Yeah, that Klingon guest star was fun. I still will sometimes say, "You ignorant Copa," in certain circumstances, or whatever that. I forget what he said. There's something kind of dumb like that, but it's very memorable. He was funny.
Oh man, I just want to go off about all the like that. He is fantastic. He plays the ship's counselor in the Star Trek Borg video game. I guess the not animated, the live action video adventure for your PC and Mac CD-ROMs in the mid to late 90s.
I heard about that. It looks like fun.
You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. They have it available.
Yep. Herc 130 says, here's an update from Herc 130 live at the car wash. Still stuck. Not going to make it. So hungry. So tired. Survival instincts kicking in.
I'm gonna have to go watch a live.
Well, he may die, but he's gonna die in the cleanest car ever. So that's something.
There you go. What a coffin.
So here's a bit from the 365 book, The Paradise Syndrome, originally titled The Pale Face. may have been
Oh, that would have been a bad choice.
it would have been. Gene Roddenberry was like, "No, are you kidding me?" Gene Roddenberry was still around making some decisions, and thank goodness he decided, hey, change the name of this. Anyway, may have been the most expensive episode produced during Star Trek's third year, with new costumes, new sets, and an oversized alien obelisk that likely would have been difficult to work into later episodes. In addition, it was the only show of the season to take the cast and crew out on location. Many of the final year's offerings were so-called bottle shows, shot primarily on the series' existing sets, but Paradise was lensed in the Franklin Canyon Reservoir north of Beverly Hills in what is now the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. The reservoir has been the site of many movies and television series over the years. Its most memorable usage was as the old fishing hole in the opening credits of the Andy Griffiths Show. The trip may have been pricey, but the natural beauty of the locale meshed well with Matt Jeffrey's organic designs for the tribal dwellings set along the shore of the lake. There was only one new, rather large item created for the episode that the producers would be able to recycle before the series end. The gigantic asteroid that Spock attempts to split with the Enterprise's phasers. The big lumpy rock would be recast as the asteroid ship Yonanda. 7 episodes later in For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky.
Can't wait.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, this episode.
Is it Lucira? I think so.
Natira, I think. Yeah, there's a Lucira and a Natira. Yeah.
Yes.
This episode would not have worked if they had to do this on stage, like in the Apple or something like that. I mean, it would not have worked. It's good they were able to go to that location.
Well, and especially with the, I didn't even think about that with the, in terms of comparison to the Apple. But when you have Vol, it is lower to the ground. But there are some great crane shots of the obelisk, like this one. Like that just looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. And as Pop has pointed out in the previous 2 episodes of season 3, it was like the lighting and sort of the production value had diminished, but then you get something like this and it's like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts off reasonably strong. Like Jill pointed out, Gene Roddenberry was still a little bit involved. DC Fontana was there at the beginning. So was Bob Justman. So was what's his name, Jerry Finnerman. They didn't leave more or less until halfway through. So I think you really get a big drop off after the first 9 or 10 episodes. Although there are some howlers in the first 9 or 10 episodes too. So, did you guys do "And the Children Shall Lead"? Has that happened yet, or that hasn't? Yet?
Not yet. No, not yet. We haven't gotten there.
When is that one coming up? A couple weeks?
Let's see.
It's one of my favorite shows starring
Feels like in the next 2 or 3 episodes, probably maybe 3.
Yeah, it'll be episode 5. So yeah, 2 more weeks. Yeah, so we get two zingers in a row, and the children shall lead, and then the week after that, Spock's brain.
Yeah.
And this is Leonard Nimoy explaining things to McCoy with rocks.
Yep.
I don't know. This is strange.
Yeah, I like that scene. It's just, for me, a little on the wrong side of being patronizing, but he's got in the time it has taken me to explain the situation, Doctor, this rock has, moved or whatever. It's kind of funny. I can see Spock back at Starfleet headquarters teaching, astrophysics, graduate level courses, and I can't do my class today. We're out of rocks. So, but it is, but it works. I mean, it's fun.
It is. They had to explain it somehow.
Yeah. That's right. It's for the audience. It's not for McCoy, really.
Yeah. Yeah, so they know the planet is in danger, and I wish that they had been a little more clear that this whole solar system was hit by a lot of asteroids and meteors. I think that was the original intent in the story, that the sky would be full of like fire. It would look like fireworks or something, according to the author, but they never went through with that.
Well, and it is something I do appreciate as we get to, oh, what's his name? Salish?
Oh, Salish?
Salish.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, why doesn't Salish do it? And it's like his dad was a jerk.
Yeah.
Salish's father didn't want to pass on the secrets of the medicine man chief.
This is a very interesting. Oh, so there she comes. I mean, this is a very interesting beginning with, I mean, the whole amnesia thing. I guess that's been a trope in TV for a long time, but they really haven't done it in Star Trek up until this point, and having like Kirk sort of come to inside this thing and, you know, not knowing who he is. That's an interesting, they hadn't really done that before. I like it.
Well, and I'm usually not a big fan of amnesia plots. I don't like it because the usual dynamics of what you have between the main characters is lost. It's like, why don't you remember me? Why don't you know who I am, kind of thing. And luckily that's left to the end of the episode, and it's ripped off like a Band-Aid fairly quickly. And then having Kirk
thanks to mind
separated.
melts.
So thanks to the Vulcan mind probe for some reason. But in this one, it kind of works. And the only thing that I found a little odd was the voiceover, the sort of narration as to what was happening. And it was like, all right, this is a little on the nose, but I guess you do have to let the audience know what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, we only have Captain Kirk, so he's not talking to anybody else, so he's got to talk to himself.
He could. I've seen movies and shows where they're absolutely fine with characters monologuing to themselves. The most egregious of which is in Manhunter. If you've ever seen Michael Mann's Manhunter, there is a moment where our main character is investigating a crime scene, and he's just monologuing as to what's going on. And I was just like, who are you talking to?
Exactly. That's why he's just thinking. I like that.
Mm-hmm. But then it takes me to like Superman when Lois Lane is like, can you read my mind? And it's that lame ass voiceover.
Oh, yeah. But he can read minds.
Superman?
Can't he? No?
No.
I figured. I don't know. I thought it was cute.
All right. And there's Salish and Abe Vigoda. I forget his name. He's actually a prolific actor. I shouldn't be so crass.
Oh, Salish?
It's
Rudy
like
something, right?
Gordo is the name of the character, the elder chief.
Yeah, Salish is played by Rudy Solari.
Right.
And Richard Hale plays Goro. He was in To Kill a Mockingbird. We have a To Kill a Mockingbird veteran. Yeah.
Goodness.
Oh.
Boo Radley. What? Nathan Radley.
I do like talking still about the amnesia, just how he still recalls kind of, he hasn't forgotten everything. I mean, he recalls sort of vague fragments about himself and, saying, I come from the sky too, or like knowing how to craft some of the technology or that when he's saving the child's life, he remembers kind of the muscle memory things, but impressions. I mean, I think they do a good job of, having him not just be a blank slate, kind of, something like that, but just being sort of in this confused, semi-aware of his past state.
The
Well, it would-
amnesia thing really works for me because normally Kirk only has a relationship with the lady if there's the past that he has with her, or if it can help him with his ship or his crew. But with his memory blocked, he's free to just
He's
have
free.
Yeah. He's just free
Well, and
to have
again, with
regular
the
love.
mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, the building of the lamp, the awareness of irrigation systems, there is still a base knowledge, or at least some of his learning, although the specifics of it are on the periphery of his memory.
Yeah, it was a clever way for him to be able to share that knowledge without realizing he's breaking the prime directive.
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Oh, and Miramani is played by Sabrina
Sharp.
Sharp.
She was 24 years old, a former Playboy bunny.
What?
Another
Get to
one.
Googling, boys. She is a strikingly attractive lady.
Definitely.
I was absolutely flabbergasted by her beauty in rewatching this, and I think it's part of the reason why the romance of the episode is sort of sold. She's great, and Shatner's pulling it off in a very tender way. He's not being lascivious, and so I did enjoy that.
I agree. I really believe the romance. I think whether you like this episode or not depends on whether you buy into that romance or not.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if I like it as well as City on the Edge of Forever, but of course it's hard to compare to that. But yeah, it does work. I mean, there is kind of a sadness. I mean, we know how it ends, but just even where he's Kirk is seeming happy and can let these impulses that he's held in check for so long roam free, but part of him still knows there's something wrong, and it just kind of creates this a little kind of poignant atmosphere, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and maybe I was jumping down the throat of the sort of inner monologue of narration, but there are reactions that Kirk has because he is, as it's stated at the beginning, it's like it's paradise. You're free of command decisions, and he is sort of just basking in the joy of this particular freedom. He's not expected to do anything. Like, there are no orders. He is just solving problems based on his surroundings and appreciated for it. Well, except for sailors.
Also, there's something else that's going on my live stream that you guys haven't seen yet. StreamYard now allows you to do videos for your backgrounds. Oh, it's not moving though. Is it moving?
I see it moving.
Oh, it is moving. Yeah. So it's like just a minute of. I got this from YouTube. It's a Unreal Engine version of the bridge, but I had to clip it down to just 1 minute. So now, if you on StreamYard, you can now upload a video as a background. And so I did this one.
I love that. That's great.
Mm-hmm. No, I really do enjoy that.
Yeah. So I thought that was fun. And then I was playing around with the. There.
Well, that was good. You put the slide right on the view screen. Love it. Love it.
It's a recursive screen.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun. Don't run with them. Oh, okay. Hey, the Brogu. Hello.
G'day, bro.
And also, hail to Nemesis of Eden. Happy Halloween, you beautiful beings.
That's a cool handle.
Stone Racket says,
Happy Halloween to you, Nemesis and Forza.
Scotty, could you read this from Stone Racket?
Stone Racket in the chat says to Anti-Derivative Jill, this episode is a crippled crock of contrivances and it collapses under the weight of all of its absurdities. Well, there is an analysis of, like, Spock gives an analysis of the American Indians at the beginning of the episode and says that these were the industrious, peaceful American Indians, the Navajo, the Mohicans, and the Delaware. The Navajo and the Mohicans apparently were quite proficient warriors, and the Delaware were not known as the Delaware. There was another name for them as well.
Oh, that was a mistake?
So, yes, in terms of the accurate representation of the tribes that were being analyzed. However, this is to a lesser degree, I want to say lightly, a product of its time. But
of course it is. It was made in the 60s, and so you're going to get those sensibilities.
Even with the costuming and the teepees and wigwams, they were not the typical dwellings of those particular tribes. I am by no means an expert. I am about as proficient in this subject as the person who was the consultant on Star Trek Voyager. But yeah,
you're not that bad.
No, but I didn't try, nor did I apply for a job that would make it so that I needed to know this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's people who don't like this episode, that's something they do react to, just
Yes.
how on the nose it is with the portrayal of Native Americans. I mean, it's part of why I didn't like it in a way. It felt a little weird. I mean, it might have made more sense if they were just portrayed as a primitive people living on this planet rather than being so specifically Native American. But, they had all those costumes, I'm sure, in storage and wanted to use them. But, looking back on it, I think they handled it pretty respectfully and pretty, it's not like 10 years earlier, those would have all been bad guys, that they would have been, barbarians or whatever. So, you have to take steps to reach, whatever enlightened world we live in today, I suppose. And, today, perhaps we wouldn't have Caucasian actors dressing up as much. Although, who knows? I think there's a conversation about whether that's good or bad. But I think for the most part, they're portraying these people as good and living, a productive, peaceful lifestyle. And it's, maybe there's that's a trope in itself, but it's not, savages beating their mouths with their hands and, bow and arrow time. So I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, that's a great point. They are presented as intelligent and they are. I think it's done respectfully, as well as you could expect from the 60s, and they're supposed to be a culture that's hundreds of years prior to even our own present. So there's no point in which these people are on the planet are shown to be anything but moving forward in their development.
Well, and also I think that based on the production of this particular sci-fi adventure show, if this introduced people to finding out more about that culture, at least it was a gateway. And if it wasn't accurate, it wasn't, as you both mentioned, it's not disrespectful. And if you find out the truths behind the history, then more power. Like, the more power to you in terms of being able to find out and educate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. You should always do research external to the TV show, because the TV show is always going to have some faults if you try to parallel it to reality, especially because these guys are aliens. They're still aliens.
Yeah, and from what I understand, American Indians didn't have a giant obelisk that shot lasers into space to divert asteroids. So it's not a documentary.
It's not National Geographic, but
this ain't Ken Burns. I like Gavin Blackburn in the chat. This episode is more respectful than Chakotay. Yes.
Well, yeah, Chakotay was very specifically an amalgamation. They didn't attribute a specific tribe to him. So he was just supposed to represent all of Native Americans. And
See, that's
that.
what's wrong with this episode is no face tattoos.
Mhm.
This seems like a weird sort of passing of the female livestock, though. If you're the medicine chief, then you get the princess, the elder princess, and
Yeah,
that's just a
it's a royalty
thing
kind
you
of
get,
thing.
I guess.
Arranged
here we
marriage
are.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't mind. I like going back to the Enterprise, and it's a different thing to see Spock have to fail so much,
Yeah.
but he's tenacious. He keeps going. He doesn't back down from
Oh,
what he's
that's a
trying to
great
do.
shot. I love this shot with him with the fingers like that. I mean, there's a guy who does digital art. I forget his name, but he did some riff on this shot of Spock, and it's so good. I have to share it if I find it.
yeah. And I do enjoy this, but there's a weird sort of situation happening in terms of the progress of time when this episode, like, I think that this episode takes place over the course of about 2 months. And yeah, exactly
Yes.
59.223 days. But apparently we're there. Like, in a matter of a cut or a commercial break, we have gone from, and you'll be able to tell by Kirk's sideburns, they're no longer, Starfleet
Pointy.
regulation. Yes,
They're no longer pointy.
no longer
Oh.
pointy.
I thought we got someone new, but it's
Sorry about that. I went looking for that picture and then logged myself out. So anyway.
Oh, did you find it?
No, I'm on my phone, so I can't fiddle around too much. It seems very delicate, but maybe I'll go on the computer upstairs. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, this is the longest time period that has passed throughout the course of a Star Trek episode. That is true. 60 days.
Mm-hmm. I do like this when there is the fight.
Behold the god who bleeds. Yeah.
This is the fight. Hey, I've had a few videos I haven't even played yet.
Ooh, I do love.
If we had to divert the asteroid, which is on a collision course with this.
Oh.
Kirk to Enterprise.
And that's where he falls.
Parents, my poor parents.
And that's when Spock has him go so fast that the engines blow, so they can't go warp speed anymore.
Which is very like.
God who bleeds.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's very interesting because I would like to know now that, and I would like to know how far away the closest starbase is, because it's not like they're going to be able to repair in space. Scotty himself says, how long, like when Spock asks, how long is it going to take to repair? And Scotty's like, forever.
Well, clearly the starbase has to be close by because we get to see our heroes next week.
True.
So it was just 30 days away. There was 60 days of this episode, another 30 days to get to the next Star. But no, they never even mention it. You're right.
And Bairns. Oh, my poor Bairns.
What is that,
apparently
like kids?
It is kids, yes. Yeah, it's apparently like vernacular. I'm not familiar with it. I've only heard it here, and I didn't know what it meant. And I looked it up,
I didn't
I was
either.
like, oh, okay.
I was like, what techno babble is this?
Me Bairns.
Oh, I feel bad for Sayla. She really gets a bad rap in this. I mean, you can understand him being ticked off. I mean, first he loses his job, and then like his girlfriend goes to this guy. I mean, he just must be seething, and he never learned the secret.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't blame him.
He's been downtrodden his own life. His father didn't trust him. His wife ditched him, and then the entire, it was like, no, the guy with the gold shirt, he's in charge now. But yeah, there is a heartbreaking moment when Salish sees Miramani, and Miramani says, no, we can't. We're not getting, there will be no bonding between us because I have to go with the medicine chief. And Salish says, Miramani, if he hadn't arrived, or if you had a choice, if you had a choice, who would you choose? And she doesn't say anything. And like, it's great acting. Like, I always thought that Salish was a bit of a punk, But watching this episode again, it's like he gets tears welling up, and he's just been abandoned by everybody, and so you can sort of understand his anger.
Yep.
Yeah, his plight.
Actually, you know what? I think when they put on the bonding gown, I think that this is the transition of time. This is supposed to be the passage of time.
The moment.
Hmm.
There's an alternate ending where Miramani doesn't die, and Kirk makes Salish. He becomes Medicine Man again and everything. Like there were happier endings. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoilers for a 56-year-old TV show.
Well, and yeah, exactly. There was no Star Trek IV: The Wrath of Salish.
That's right.
And there was no The Search for Miramani.
Exactly.
He's attacking the Enterprise with a knife.
Yeah. Oh no.
I thought this scene was cute. I loved them frolicking around the little forest.
Yeah.
Hey, Dalek is here.
Hey, Dalek. It's an incentive to go to medical school, says Frank Walker.
Yes.
I do like the Spock failing narrative, yeah. Because it makes when he actually does succeed, more fun.
Well, and it also, it's interesting when you see your heroes fail, when you see that, and he's done it before, like even in the Galileo 7, Spock is miscalculated, but it is something that they can do from time to time. I'm not saying they all have to be Urkel or Screech, but like
no, that's not how it's presented either. He does figure out the music eventually. It just takes him all that time.
Even McCoy says, after he does his usual McCoy thing on the bridge and says it's a calculated risk and then the ship will be destroyed and we won't find Jim and all those people will die. And then after, when there's a flash forward, as we can see by the sideburns, McCoy does go back to him and say, I blew up at you and I was wrong. All right. You made a good risk. Kurt or Jim would have done the same thing. And so I do appreciate that.
He does say that. Exactly. Stone Racket said, yet another reason I frown upon this episode, they killed poor Miramani and her unborn child.
I bear your child.
I think that's part of the reason why it was elevated for me, is that I never realized that they stoned a pregnant woman to death. And I was like, holy crap, this is harsh. It's kind of like that episode of UFO we watched when they killed Straker's kid. And I was like, you didn't do that on television, did you? Yep, they did. I bear your child.
10-year-old.
Not for much longer.
I'm sorry.
What, for giggling at the death?
Yes, giggling at the death. I promise I was crying last week.
Okay.
It really was. I don't know why. I never cried at this episode before, but I think I was just paying so much attention to it.
And and we will get there. And I don't want to keep. I guess we are jumping all over the place, but there is that point where the last shot before we get the Enterprise pulling away from the planet is Kirk actually mourning Miramani, and which is, aside from Edith, we don't really get that. And then we do get that again with Reyna in Requiem for Methuselah, but it's fascinating. And here we have Kirk sort of explaining the aqueduct and the lamp, which is to keep Miramani up cooking.
Always forever cooking.
Yes. And he says no, which we can, surmise that the real reason that he invented the lamp was because Kirk is a dude who likes to do it with the lights on.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what I thought too. So that must be what they intended.
Then after they're done, Miramani, another chicken sandwich with coffee, please.
Please.
Oh, I meant to mention earlier when he decides not to kill Salish. That name is just so that's Kirk still remembering that that's not his nature to kill, that he only does that as a last resort. And so even though he's forgotten a lot of things, he remembers much of his personality.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had in my notes here that those colorful feathers were also used in an episode of Batman, 66, called The Spell of Tut.
Oh, yeah. What an awful feeling it must be to know that everyone you care about is counting on you to do something, but you don't know how to do it. you know this is not going to work. Like, I mean, he just has this. He never, even though he's happy, he never totally settles in because he retains enough of his original self to know he's out of place.
Yeah, he does. He does. During that scene where they were frolicking and stuff, he was like, I still have these dreams of that I don't belong here. And of course, we just had that scene. And
I bet he loved this episode, Shatner. I bet he loved doing this. It's something totally different. He gets bored so easily. Losing his memory and getting the long sideburns. So you're starting to look cool. They were always complaining about how they couldn't do more stylish stuff with their hair because they had to have the pointed sideburns and stuff. And, gets the girl and all this new, and, his Dobermans are on the set or on the, he took them on location with him. He had a blast, I bet.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it was good. I'm sure it was good to get away from the studio a little bit. Let's see.
I know it's Tuesday and we don't usually bring up the filth on Tuesdays, but there is
We
one thing that
don't.
I want to specify something, and this is very episode specific.
Why?
The square sideburns on Kirk.
Yes.
It was always a curiosity to me as to why all Starfleet personnel had pointy sideburns. And apparently it was something that Gene said, and he was like, I always want you to know who the good guys are. All the good guys have pointy sideburns. And so in further interpretations of Star Trek, I feel like they do it in Next Generation, and they kind of do it in Deep Space Nine. But as you get further away from the original series, they kind of lose the pointy sideburn rule. And once you get to post 2005, nobody has the pointy sideburns anymore. And I love the pointy sideburns. Sometimes I do pointy sideburns. So I do appreciate Starfleet regulation sideburns is what I'm saying.
I never noticed this whole time. What's wrong with me? Pop Culture Curator says, probably going to postpone tonight's stream until next week. All the big channels decide they want money and they're streaming tonight. Well, they just happen to be monetized. I'm sure they really love their viewers and are having a good time. And if you want to have a good time, you can stream too.
Yeah, man. Variety is the spice of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. You're going to give people choice.
Just because there are other Halloween parties happening doesn't mean that your Halloween party won't be popular. I'm kind of curious about Hatchet.
Yeah,
myself.
This is your night, man. Oh yeah, Hatchet. That's the movie he was going to do. The whole episode is an embarrassment. Oh, Stone Racket. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You might disagree with my review.
He does go big in this episode. There are some things. I mean, he can be subtle, Shatner. But he went very big in this. I'm okay with it, but I can see people not liking it.
I enjoy his performance too.
Well, and I think that he does go big, like that whole thing. I have found happiness, and he like almost tries to hug the sky and then pulls it in and hugs himself. And I'm like, all right, Bill. All right, hang on. But the more intimate moments with Miramani, I think, are very subtle, lovely Shatner. Like he is tender in those moments.
It feels to me like he really is in love, so it works for me. And so Spock figures out the puzzle of the language, that it's musical notes, but he doesn't figure out what song to play yet.
It goes stepping into Eden, yay, brother.
Brother.
If you play the.
There you go.
Well, and the desperation that Kirk's got, and I think that him screaming, him doing like "I have come, I am Kira," like that is him screaming over the storm, yelling at the sky. Like this is literally old man yelling at cloud. But
I know they're mad at him that he can't open the temple, but why do they have to stone him? I don't.
He's a false god. He lied to them. He stole their princess. It looks like DJ Play Nice has to take it at his exit.
Okay, gotta roll all. Jill, thanks for hosting. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy you were able to stop by for a while.
Yay.
I want to read this from the book. Here's another one here. It will not last 60 days. That's as much paradise as Kirk can be allowed. He has always known that he was not meant for paradise. For Kirk, there is no beach to walk on, no time to gather a few laurel leaves, or to stroll to the music of the lute. It actually takes an act of God, or rather an extremely advanced civilization, to grant Kirk 2 months of complete bliss on a beautiful alien world. With all memories of his identity as the captain of the Enterprise eliminated, he accepts the proffered cloak of many-colored feathers and is born again as Kirok, medicine man to a peaceful tribe of Native American transplants, and husband to the beautiful Miramani. But there is always a serpent in paradise, and sometimes it is the one that lives within. Kirk cannot escape the shades of his past, barely submerged beneath haunting dreams of a lodge that moves through the sky. He cannot escape his responsibilities either. Once his ship returns, Spock restores his memories that the preservers took from him. And for relinquishing those responsibilities, for daring to enjoy the sweetness of those 2 brief months, he will be punished with bittersweet memories that will linger for a lifetime.
Well, and in Star Trek Continues, there is an episode where the former loves of Kirk sort of manifest. And I remember, obviously, Edith Keeler is one of them, and Miramani is another. I forget who else shows up. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I need to watch Continues.
This is one of those enduring loves of Kirk.
Well, it definitely has to stick with him for sure.
Mm-hmm. At least interpreted by the production staff at Star Trek Continues. And until now, like I've seen Miramani in beta canon before, like in novels and whatnot, and I was like, really? Miramani? Really? All right. But now rewatching this, I'm not gonna go back and reread those novels, but it's like, okay, I think I was harsh on Miramani the first time around, because this is not the worst thing in the world. It's certainly better than the alternative factor.
That's a pretty low bar, though. I think.
I know, but I'm just saying, let's start low and move higher.
She's still alive, Sabrina Sharf. I was just she could reprise this role, have her and Shatner get back together.
Oh no, we have an update from the car wash.
Oh,
at the car wash.
I am declining
dying
quickly.
at the car wash.
I am declining quickly. I have eaten the floor mats. Oxygen levels near zero. Waiting for the sweet release of death. Yeah, saved! They told us to drive out, but the car has soap suds all over it. You're
They dry.
free!
If they dry, you won't be able to open the door. It's like being
You're
in
free,
casing.
but you're going to need a garden hose.
Mm-hmm. In October?
In October.
I wonder if they'll give you a voucher to another car wash, or if you have post-car wash syndrome.
That was a well-written story, Herc 130. Riveting. And oh, hey, they got the obelisk deflector thingy to work. Hooray.
Oh, and speaking of deflectors, earlier on, there was the first usage of the deflector dish on the Enterprise, at least in the remaster.
Yeah, no, they didn't have an effect with but they mentioned it. I mean, that's what they called it. Actually, the effects in this, the original effects are pretty good.
You know, the only thing that bothers me, and we'll find out when we get there, is I didn't like that the asteroid here is the same as Yonata. I was like, this is a rerun. But I'm curious to see if they do change it, because one of the things that I've been heralding about remasters is that they aren't really messing with the special effects too much. They're not changing things, but I'm wondering what Yonata is going to look like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that one with the remastered effects. So yeah, I'll be curious.
And the passing of Miramani.
Boy, McCoy tried so hard to save her life. He just did everything he could. He beamed her up. He used all his medical gear. And
yeah, I know. I remember that scene where they took Miramani to sick bay and they performed every surgery humanly possible. Nope, just too many internal injuries.
Yeah, I think Christine gave her some morphine and we called it a day.
Herc 130 says, I am safe now and reunited with my family and friends. But I think I have Stockholm Syndrome because I want to work at a car wash.
You know, if I've learned anything from Breaking Bad, it means that you have to become, some sort of drug magnate. You have to take advantage of meth. No Breaking Bad fans? All right.
I know, I am a Breaking Bad fan.
He worked at a car wash before he decided the cancer, and then he made the thing in the butts.
I know, but I'm trying to connect the dots between getting stuck in a car wash, wanting to work at a car wash, and suddenly now Herc 130 has to cook meth. What?
Well, it's actually just a request on my end. It's Halloween, trick or treat.
Stone Racket says Shatner's performance as the good Kirk in The Enemy Within is superb. Yes. But as evil Kirk, he went over the top too much. However, I love their final confrontation scene. I still have one video from that episode.
What can I do for you, Jim?
I said, give me the brandy.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I should probably get some brandy.
I don't mean to encourage day drinking.
Come on.
It's 2 o'clock.
It's a time of day where you are. Go get drunk. It's Halloween. Just,
It is Halloween.
Leave a trough of candy outside and ask for the honor system of the children.
Right. That's what I'm probably going to do because we don't get too many kids. Yeah, I might be lazy. I might not do that. Bird of Prey 5 says the car wash was to launder the drug money. This is a great topic for Star Trek, the original series. Analysis of the Paradise Syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Well, how else do you lose your memory and get married?
Oh, and so we're quoting The Enemy Within.
I'm Captain Kirk. My ship.
Well, good or bad, you can't look away from the guy. I mean, he has a way of just sucking up all the oxygen on the screen. And, if he used that theater background to dominate little black and white TV screens, more power to him. But definitely some of those performances don't port as well on like a big 55-inch HD TV. It's too much. But I think for what they were filmed for, I think it works.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the fun things about this. And you do, when you're dealing with a 15-inch screen CRT in 1962, you don't see the stunt doubles. And in this particular instance, you don't see the differentiation between the new part of the sideburn and the old part. But watching this on a Blu-ray, I was like, oh yeah, no, that was just an application. You do see that. But again, I let it slide just because these were never intended to be seen in HD. It's insane. It's great. I'm glad that these are.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there are preservers.
Yes.
Me too.
Now, according to IMDb,
you're right. He did. William Shatner did bring his Dobermans.
Nice.
Well, Sub-Commander Tall was talking about that.
Yeah, there's what's the guy's name? Billy Blackburn, the guy who plays the Lieutenant Hadley, who never says a line, even though he's on like 50 episodes. You probably know he took some home movies. There's no audio, but he took home movies throughout his time on Star Trek behind the scenes, and I think they were in one of the Blu-ray releases, but they're on YouTube, and there's definitely some footage of Shatner snapping his fingers to get the dogs to come during the filming of this episode. It's a really fun resource. If you haven't seen them, I would encourage you to do so.
Yeah, definitely go check those out. Also, it's interesting you say Blackburn because there's a quote from him in this book. It says, "Bill was very professional. He always knew his lines. He was one of those people. He was one of those people who could look at a script and he knows his lines. But then there would be moments when he would suddenly be funny or attempt at humor or something. It was usually when there was a tough scene to do. And after he finished the scene, it was like a release for him to kind of joke around. And he was very good with the crew. He was always very friendly. It was a fun group because we didn't have any screaming or ranting or raving. Everybody got along and it was a nice atmosphere. Everybody was having a good time, and I think it had to do with Shatner and a lot to do with Leonard and DeForest. I mean, we worked hard and everybody was doing their job, but there was always fun. We were like a big family.
Well, and I'm sure that a lot of the relaxed nature of this particular production was because there was so much of it done on location. People like going outside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me for just 1 second. I have to go and close the airlock.
Yeah, since I have some time, I'm just going through the Cushman book and looking to see if there's anything interesting during the production of this episode. Like that one just happened to line up with what you were talking about.
I like these production sketches whenever we see them by Matt Jeffries. They're just so good. I love people who can draw. Just imagine a world and put it down on paper right there.
Exactly. And you can even see his little autograph down there. No one was in a hurry to get home. Right. Yeah, there of course were some scenes shot on the Paramount set, including the interior Indian Lodge sets with the little boy who couldn't breathe.
He's probably 55 years old now, that kid. 60 years old now, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, he'd be 60. Yeah, wow. That's it. That's a good question. I wonder if he goes to conventions. Who are you? I'm the little boy who almost died in the Paradise Syndrome.
He cleans up. It's $80 a pop for his autograph now for the one. Yeah. But that's fun. Well, how fun would it be to have like appeared on that? And, it's just some, low rating show. Nobody knows what the future is holding for it. It's about to get canceled this season. And then, who knows how we got that part. And then, but later in life, being able to say, yep, I was on Star Trek. That's me in that episode after it's become this big phenomenon. I mean, that must just be such a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
Jill, I am going to have to step away in a minute or two here to put my lunch together. But
Okay.
I don't know if you do.
Okay, I understand about that. Oh yeah. Actually, give us your review about this episode. So, give us you can rate it if you want, and tell us what you think.
Sure. Well, I mean, most of it I've said, but this is an episode I didn't like as a kid. I think I was reacting to some of the costuming, some of the on the nose costuming, and maybe some of the music, and Shatner going big. But as an adult, I really quite like it. I mean, I think there are some very sensitive moments in it. It's sad, and I just like I said at the beginning, I'm really in awe of some of the production values for season 3. I mean, just the optical shots with that asteroid and the Enterprise going in reverse, and the big obelisk and all the costuming. The idea of these glyphs. I'm really my other big hobby is like Maya hieroglyphs and Aztec stuff. So I love any Star Trek episode where there's an archaeological element or like an element with an alien writing system. So there's, I enjoy it quite a bit. And I think I appreciate the love story now more than I did when I was younger. And just that idea of Kirk never really getting what he wants. So yeah, if you can look past some of the, on the nose, Native American, dress and that sort of thing, then I think, there's a really, really good story here.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. And thank you for surprising us with your presence. I'm always so happy when you can make it.
Oh,
because
thanks.
you always have such wonderful things to say.
Thank you. It's always so fun. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'm going to engage my cloak now. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. And Stone Racket says, I was very lucky because I got to see Star Trek in full, living color during its original run because my dad bought a color TV in August of 1966. Ooh, fancy. Actually, I think my mother was also one of the other few lucky people in the neighborhood who got to have a color TV because her dad worked at a TV manufacturing location place. So she got all the kids were running to see her TV because it's in color. And Franco says, I finally saw it in color in the mid 80s. I also taped it to VHS. Oh, and in the 80s, that's when we got the cage too. So you got to complete the Star Trek watch experience.
Did we lose the sub commander?
We did. He had to cloak.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But he did give us his review, and it was very good.
What did he give it?
I don't think he told me. He just told me how much he liked it. But
okay.
I don't think he gave it a grade. I said he could rate it if he wanted to. If he did give it a grade, I forgot.
Makes sense.
But since we did that, why don't you give us yours?
Oh, absolutely. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of this show. Unless
you want me to just play the one you prepared.
No, I don't want to. No, because I didn't call your show the right name. I called it Pluming Tea Time, but that's Friday. No, as I mentioned, this is an episode that I wasn't necessarily looking forward to. There was a possibility that I wasn't even going to be here. I'm sorry to disappoint, but Yeah, I enjoyed this far more this time around simply because of the love story subplot. And it was interesting to see the Enterprise fail at its mission, and it was the pre-existing technology that was there. And so the interactions between Spock and McCoy, I enjoyed. We have another all hands on deck episode, which is great to see in season 3. We get Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Chekhov, Sulu, Uhura, and Christine. We get Nurse Chapel. And so I really do appreciate that. My brain wants to give it like a C, maybe a C minus, but my heart gives it a B.
Yeah, I'm pretty much all heart on this one too. I give it a B plus
Wow.
because I don't know, it just it hits me on just that emotional level of Kirk's performance, and I'm not I think I think it was well done in terms of the culture, because these aliens are supposed to be hundreds of years more primitive than than even we are now. So if viewing it from that perspective, the residents of the planet are portrayed as really intelligent, because before we get into science, we in order to make sense of our universe, we use religion, and it's very obvious from some of the dialogue in this episode that they use astronomy for their agriculture. And something else I probably said before in this episode, I don't know if I did today. All of the humanity began with those similar beats where explaining all of the universe, explaining why we have all of these humanoids can come from these preservers or whoever the aliens were in the chase, or the aliens from the disembodied aliens, the return to tomorrow. Um, so, I enjoy that aspect of it quite a bit. That's the big science fiction point that it has.
Well, and I do understand when people want to sort of look at this and say, oh, the noble savages kind
Yeah,
of
and
trope,
yeah, right.
and then the white savior. But ultimately, Kirk is not. Like the Enterprise, Starfleet, Federation, they don't do. The only thing that they do is reactivate what already existed. And the foibles of the residents of this planet,
Mhm.
they're not like they still have their infighting, they still have their grievances with one another, and so it isn't like elevating them to being a superior group of people based on their being in touch with the land or anything like that. It's just it is a colony who are unaware, and it's interesting how Star Trek as a whole sort of deals with those ideas. You get that in the original series. You get that in Next Generation with Worf's brother when they try and relocate. You get that with and again the
Oh, that
multitude
was
of
not good though,
times.
but yes.
No, but I like Paul Sorvino. And then you get all of the stuff that happened on Voyager. But like this is of course of its time, but
Voyager,
it
I
is
forgot about Voyager. What did Voyager
Voyager.
do?
Well, all the Chakotay episodes.
All of the Chakotay episodes. Oh, I thought you were going to say something particular to
Specific?
this.
No.
No?
Well,
Okay.
hey, this could be of a similar ilk as the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs in the Delta Quadrant
Well,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
that's
It's
the
like
thing
put
about Star
together.
Trek. This primitive, it didn't matter in Star Trek. We look at people as individuals, so it this could have been a primitive race of dinosaurs, and it would have been the same episode of Kirk falling in love with the dinosaur, maybe.
Could have been. Totally
Why
could have
not?
been. And that's
And that's the magic of it.
so I think that this episode has a lot of heart. And again, this is something that I want to give you a lot of credit for in terms of it.
Mhm.
From the onset of watching the original series through production order, I find this third season far more engaging watching it in this fashion,
Yes, and
as opposed to
I gotta thank Raquel Briggs for that idea, because I
well,
don't know if
thanks, Professor.
if I would have done this if I hadn't been listening to her for a while.
And that it was an incredible suggestion. When Clobby did the original series, did they do broadcast or production?
They did production. Yeah.
And
And
so
so
that's fantastic.
mhm.
I missed that on on their live streams, and
Well, I
so
missed it too. I only dropped in when they were doing the animated series. So I've only seen, like, towards the end of the animated series, and then I continued with the movies and everything, but I was there the entire time for TNG.
oh, good. No, Lieutenant Ya. No vaccine. So, but I thank you for having me along on this ride. This is great, and I think it recontextualizes the storytelling of the show itself to watch it in production order. And
Mhm.
I am of the same mind as Bird of Prey 5. Every episode of the original series gets an A. Um, even alternative factor, because it's still my heroes. And so, but
Mm.
this is really interesting because you don't kick off with a duff. There's no this actually feels like a continuation of seasons 1 and 2 going into season 3, whereas with broadcast, there's a huge speed bump that is Spock's brain, and you're like, what is this turning into? Is this Lost in Space? Get off my lawn. But this is actually I
What? What's
appreciate
wrong
it.
with remote control Spock?
Nothing. I love remote control Spock, but I think that is something that you bury in the early to mid season, as opposed to saying, "Hey guys, guess what I got? I got a Vulcan with a clicker."
Well, there you go. There's a review of the Paradise Syndrome. Stone Racket says, I give the Paradise Syndrome a D because of the killing of Miramani and her unborn child. However, Sabrina Sharf was oh so beautiful, and the obelisk was way cool. Yes, Matt Jeffries is awesome. And there was another
When
alternate ending where she didn't die. There was a new ending. Miramani had yet to give birth to Kirk's child, and Kirk no longer made the decision to leave her. He wanted her to stay with him in his home, the Enterprise. But she was terrified. She tells Kirk she wishes to return to her people rather than live on the strange ship. Heartbroken to lose her and his unborn child, he says, tell him he's of two worlds, Miramani, with a proud heritage from both.
huh, that would have been touching. Although I can see in the storytelling how you wouldn't want Kirk to end up like that. Would have really cemented the misnomer of Kirk being a horn dog who just papows every alien lady on every port and planet. I think that's something that it just isn't as present
It's just not
in the
really
original
true.
series. Exactly. Like I don't think I don't think it presents itself as much as people stereotype it or
It's just
satire
the
it to
thing is
be.
it became a joke, and joke turned into the truth somehow, even though it's not the truth. It's just a joke, guys. Come on. Can't you guys just realize that we're just joking here? And a real Star Trek fan will understand that
But I.
Kirk's main lady is the Enterprise.
Mhm. And I one of the and Stone Racket, just to respond to what you said, is a D because Miramani gets stoned to death with an unborn child. I don't know, man. I think that really that with so much speaking of death throughout the entire episode, I think that it's someone had to go. I think that someone had to go to add the weight of the threat, and even the resolution had to have a casualty. And what was it? Even in the IMDb trivia section where it says the body count on this episode is 1, and I was like,
Two.
It's 2 exactly. 2 people died, depending on your thoughts on in utero life. But I was surprised that was something. Revisiting it, I knew she died, and I was like, oh right, she's pregnant. This is, oh my god. So
Yeah. Oh, Brinkle Walker, did I say that he gave it an A?
you did not.
And James Caserta says Jill is actually sleeping, and this is all just a dream. This is just a dream that Captain Kirk keeps having in the middle of every time he goes to sleep while he's in paradise. He has a dream of this live stream. I don't know why.
Well, that's why he hugs himself and opens his arms to the sky.
Jill's life is Jill's dream. Oh,
Row, row, row your boat.
James Caserta says I'm controlled remotely by a little kid in China.
Isn't one of the Spider-Mans like controlled by a little kid in China? Maybe Japan. I'm not sure. I never saw Across the Spider-Verse.
What?
Nothing. People who've seen it will kind of get what I'm saying.
No, but I've seen Across the Spider-Verse, and I don't.
Which one is? Wasn't there like a little girl who controlled like a giant robot?
Was there?
Were you on the drugs again?
Wait a minute.
What?
I don't remember. I don't remember a little girl controlling a robot.
Maybe it wasn't Across. Maybe it was Into the Spider-Verse.
I saw both of them.
Yeah, it was the first one. I thought that there was anyway.
You know what? There's just too many multiverse Spider-Man. If it's not Miles, I wasn't really paying attention.
Miles.
Oh, Miles. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. But we have 24 votes in the chat, so I'm gonna share the chat. We got through this quick. This episode, I guess we didn't have as much to say about it, but that's okay.
Yeah, I was of the same opinion. I was thinking that there's not a lot to say, but it does it. I don't know. Maybe it should. Maybe I should take it down from a B to a C. But I still, it makes me. I'm gonna check this one out again.
My mother's here. Can I step away for just a moment? Can you read out the poll for me and vamp for just a minute? I'll be right
absolutely. Back. This is exactly what people come to Anti-Derivative Jill's channel to hear. Me, Scotty R37. If you enjoy my irreverence, then I am on X at Scotty R37. And sometimes I'm on Cinema Gulp. And also I am on the Phantasmagorium, where every Thursday we've been going through Fargo, because why not? It's entertaining. We like it. Anyway, the poll. How would you rate the Paradise Syndrome? With 54% of the vote, it is an A- to A+. With 25% of the vote, B- to B+. Nobody thought it was a C, and we do have 12% saying a D+ to an F, which I completely understand. No argument whatsoever. But that is fantastic. I'm surprised that there are more people giving it positive as opposed to the negatives. But I do understand across the spectrum. And as I've mentioned, and as we've mentioned throughout the last 3 episodes, it is interesting that season 3 just sort of has a cloud of some sort over it, in terms of, well, I'm not supposed to like it because none of it's good, or at least that's what I heard. And so actually going through and reading these, it is, or not reading them, rewatching them, it's fantastic. I was referring to, I don't know where the last the last chat was, so I'm hoping that I'm going to go from the bottom and work my way up. Stone Racket says to Jill, I didn't give this episode an F because I reserve my Fs for the likes of and the children shall read and the way to Eden. Well, I'll see you at the way to Eden. I'm not going to be kicking around for and the children shall lead, but I am looking forward to seeing both of those because I still think even the bad ones. I think
You are
the
going
one
to
that I'm
submit a review.
a review for and the children shall lead, of course. But I think the one that I'm not looking forward to the most, because I think I've only seen a little bit of it, I don't even think I've seen the whole episode, is There No Truth in Beauty, when we get fisheye camera Spock when he goes all crazy because he doesn't look into the box with the visor. But this is insane. I am looking forward to seeing all of the season 3 because it's the least revisited. James Caserta says, this Tonto show now. Shut up, Kimosabe. Well, considering that this is the Paradise Syndrome, from what I understand, it's all been a Tonto show. Boom. Too much? Probably.
Yes.
Come on.
Me? I don't know.
Well,
I never
hey,
really
if it was
watched.
offensive, cancel. Ooh, you've never seen The Lone Ranger?
No.
Well, The
Even
Lone
though it's about
Ranger
a
has
Texan.
a character. It is about a Texas Ranger, from what I understand. Is he a federal ranger? I don't know. You can learn all about it next week on our new show, The Lone Ranger Show.
James Caserta says Jill is being slowly introduced to drugs. No, I've been introduced a long time ago, but
Yeah, not slowly either.
James Caserta says I'm addicted to Jill. Ooh. If
You'll be
anybody
both
else is
sisters.
addicted to Jill, make sure if you haven't yet already, please like and subscribe. And if you want, become a member. But liking and subscribing is free, so please do that.
You know, in the 24th century, we've evolved past our desire for material wealth, Jill.
Well, unfortunately, sushi still costs money.
Sushi does
I don't know
cost
why I
money.
went straight for sushi, but
Because you've got the notch kicking. And also, I believe I did say the 24th century.
I would never live in the 24th century. I fucking hate the next generation. Only the original series, only classic.
that always makes me laugh. I love that.
Makes me smile too.
2 very deserving F episodes, says Franco Walker to Stone Racket. Oh, okay. The Way to Eden. Yes. I can't wait to review both of those.
See, I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about the original series. And again, I'm still kicking on what do you call it? Bird. It. With Bird says that all the original series episodes are A. And that's the thing, is that even if they are Fs, even if the original series has a few F episodes in your opinion, and in my opinion too, there are, but they still make me happy to watch them. And even when I'm upset with them, they fill a hole in my soul.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I'm sad about it for this episode is that it's the last time we get Gerald Fried.
Oh no!
But we have him at least. I think. Bird of Prey 5 says this was a solid A. Solid A plus. A solid A plus. Wow.
And that's when you're like when you got the classic Trek, and if you want to be like, oh, this is crap, I would never watch this again, and it was like, well, you have choices. I get you, but come on, this is even if you just want to chuckle at it, like none of these are boring. None of these are so these are fine.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the empath yet. Ugh. That one
dude,
that one makes me pass out.
Oh man, I can't wait for that one because it's got so much torture.
You know what? Maybe now that I'm actually looking at it, paying attention to it, maybe I'll like it better.
When I got the Blu-ray box set of the original series, the first episode I watched was the empath.
Why?
Because I was like, okay, now that I have this box set, I want to watch the ones that I don't watch on a regular basis. And I
Mhm.
rewatch The Empath. I'm strangely okay with it.
Okay, well, I'll have to find out. Because I'll be watching it when you're analyzing it and presenting it as a review show is very different from when you're just sitting there enjoying the content.
Mhm. Yeah, I will be a little bit more critical. Hey, Stone Racket.
Hey, thank you, Stone Racket. That is so generous of you. I am so happy you want to share this. Stone Racket says, some more space credits for my favorite true trekker on YouTube. Wow,
You deserve it,
favorite.
lady.
Thank you. I- but James Caserta says there's a $500 maximum. Just Stone Racket. He doesn't. That's
Is this like
he's
Space Quest?
no, but Stone Racket still has to eat.
This is true. He
This
lives
is
by
like
the
yeah.
sea, so the sushi is free.
I wish it was like Space Quest because then I could just keep going into that gambling establishment and resetting the game over and over and getting hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, save and
Hundreds of.
reload.
Mhm.
Oh, Jill. Remember how I said I didn't know how to get my horse back?
Oh, right, because you're playing Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I found out how to get him back. If you save your game and reload it, your horse is like right next to you. It's great.
Oh, actually, I never even got the story of when you got your horse. All I knew is that you were going to get a horse, and now suddenly I'm learning about how you got your horse back. So I'm missing the whole middle of that story.
Oh, okay, well, it's not important.
Okay, great. The first episode of the season. Oh, okay. So this was the first one of the season to be done in 6 days. It cost $193,000, $193,627, which is 1.3 million in 2014 monies. Wow. This was 15K more than what was budgeted for the series.
Well, and that's something the Pop Culture Curator brings up in terms of the episodes themselves being cheap, but they weren't. They weren't cheap. These were very expensive episodes, probably contributing to, can we stop making these? Let's make the production stop. It costs so
Yeah,
much.
so if they're spending all this money, why can't they put on some more lights for Pop Culture Curator's enjoyment?
Why can't we get more Eddie Paskey?
Right.
Actually, I was looking up the Eddie Paskey thing because I announced during Elan of Troyes that was the last one in broadcast with Eddie Paskey. But we still get some more Eddie Paskey. We get Mr. Leslie for a couple more episodes, yeah. So it was, there we go, Elvis and Priscilla. That's
good. I'm glad
my,
that we haven't seen the last of him.
yes. I'm looking forward. I was keeping an eye out, and but no Eddie Paskey this time.
Well, yeah, you're very good at spotting him, even when I don't even notice him.
Where's Wally? So what do you think, Jill?
Free from the trappings and responsibilities from Starship to Command. Well, I'm looking. I want to look through this. I'm almost done looking through these. Oh, the Paradise Syndrome was one of the third season episodes William Shatner deemed as extremely good. Okay, so Sub Commander Tall was right. Shatner really enjoyed filming this. But Freeburger said, quite frankly, I wasn't happy with the show. It didn't come out as well as I had expected. Armin countered, I think if Gene Roddenberry had been producing the episode would have come out better, but who can say? People loved it. I understood that the sponsors' wives Adored it. And there you go.
See?
That's it.
The
That's everything
romance.
the book says.
Well, and also, like, and as we'll see more overtly in Way to Eden, this is also 1968 and going into 1969. This is late 60s hippie counterculture that the networks and productions were attempting to appeal to. And so this is one of those back to nature episodes through the trappings of American Indians, but still, it is of it, not of its time in terms of, oh no, we can say certain words because they didn't know better or whatever.
Oh,
This is of its time in terms of what it was attempting to appeal to because of the cultural risings socially.
yeah, and I think it did really well. And we all focus on the the Kirk kiss with Uhura, but there were so many interracial kisses in Star Trek. This being one of them.
Well, and we still have to get there. Plato's
Yes.
stepchildren and Alexander, everyone's favorite villain from the Wild Wild West. That's going to be a good episode. I can't wait to talk to Pop about that one.
Oh, I'll be right back. I want to show you something that my mom made for me. She's been making cat spa in front of my house for Halloween. Hold on.
Ooh.
And she doesn't like what she made, but I liked it, so I'm gonna show it.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward. James Caserta says, Jill will be huge one day. Well, yeah, absolutely. And that is brought to you by viewers like you. That is how these productions are made. And so we appreciate all of your support. And even if it's just a like and a share, that's great. James Caserta says, I don't get the hate for those guilty pleasures of mine. No such thing as a guilty pleasure in my book. If it brings you pleasure, like if your entertainment, within reason. I don't want to hear about your S&M clubs, but no, if it brings you joy to watch Howard the Duck or Weekend at Bernie's 2 or The Paradise Syndrome, please don't be shy. In a world where everyone criticizes everything for sucking so bad because it's just bad, we don't like it and it's doing wrong things to all the stuff that we ever loved, find the ridiculousness that is still available to you and share it with people, because who knows, maybe you'll find a person who's never seen Troll 2 or Trancers. Like these are great things. If they bring you joy, maybe they'll bring other people joy. And that's what I really enjoy, is just being able to show someone something new. And even if they don't like it and they question my sanity, well, they wouldn't be the first. Classic Comics. Hey, Classic Comics. Pow! Is that a euphemism for something? Yes, coitus. But thank you. He just goes from planet to planet and pow, pow. That's usually what people say about Kirk's exploits across the galaxy. And so, which I just think he's a charming man who could seduce people, but on the flip side, he could also judo chop the neck of his drill thrall. And that's how he gets out to talk to the brains. I don't know what this is in. Oh, here we
Brains?
go. Yeah. What is brains?
Oh.
Bird of Prey 5 says that the car wash was to launder the drug money. It's an all cash business. Well, it used to be, and now we're doing debit. We're doing credit.
Everybody has a square card reader, even the hobos.
That's not exactly PC.
I'm
Hobos?
sorry. Domestically challenged?
That's the one. No, you can say hobo.
Right.
Sitting here thinking about hobos.
Those poor people.
Riding the rails and solving crimes. Yeah. Dr. Richard Kimball was a hobo.
Oh. So this is my mother's interpretation of the aliens at the end of Cat's Paw right before they collapse and die forever.
Marionettes.
And then she made this freaky witch.
I can't see it. I can't see. I didn't see the marionettes.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
No.
I gotta share my screen because I'm live on the internet.
We are. This is. When do you want to go live? Oh no, we haven't been live this whole time. We have an hour and a half. Oh, those aren't bad. Those are
Do
cool.
it all again.
Could use purple around the tops there, but that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
no, but I thought it was great.
It is.
Look, it's terrifying. I love it.
It is.
And look, it's a Horda. Only I know it's a Horda.
That's a yes. It is a Horda. You need some nodules. Oh wait, there is one on top. I didn't see the nodule on top.
Yeah, yeah. There's one baby, but it's clear and has little lights inside. That's how baby Hordas start.
It's the Kal-El of the Hortas. Kal-El was super
Anyway, I just love the effort.
As do I.
Historical documents.
Those poor people.
Explain it to them as you would to a child.
That's our entire review of the Paradise Syndrome. Record time for this show, I think.
Oh, but wait. I just want to give a shout out to Stone Racket here saying, or Life Force with the awesome Matilda May. Stone Racket, especially Life Force with the awesome Matilda May. Jill, have you ever seen Life Force?
Do we need to watch it on Friday?
We can. Seems like Stone Racket's a fan.
Okay. I can put it on the list.
It's got Patrick Stewart in
it. Oh, well, there you go. I like him sometimes.
Hey, Cam's Crash Courses is here.
Hi, Cam. Hello, everyone. Hi, Jill and Scotty. Been listening. This is an interesting episode. Shatner gets to stretch his acting chops. His co-star is beautiful, and Spock overcomes adversity. Yeah, no, Spock doesn't give up. He keeps going even when the chips are down for him, and he saves him. He saves his captain. So what more do you want from Spock? He did his best, and he succeeded eventually.
And a great Leonard Nimoy reaction when he breaks the mind meld.
Oh, I do like when he says he's a dynamic individual.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and James Caserta says, "Oh, I don't think I have it anymore.
No,
I had to remove it. I removed it because I didn't have room. But it's all real. I knew it."
Yeah, you gotta go and clean house on your clips.
Yeah, I know.
Captain, I'm.
Uhura, you're the only one who can do it. I'll be right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you have any suggestions, just let me know. Give me a list of the clips you want, and I'll get rid of the rest.
We'll have a staff meeting.
Hooray. Yeah, once we get into show notes, we know we're done with the review for the Paradise Syndrome. We've been done with the review for about 30 minutes. I think we did
it's fun to hang out.
Oh, there was one thing we didn't do. We did not look at the remaster, whatever.
Oh, really? Okay. No, we did not. There's not that much. Like we get Mind Beam and a couple of, well, I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, why not? I got it here.
We might as well.
Yeah, and thank you to the Trekkie channel for not giving me copyright claims for using its material. Their material here. Let's see what they got.
Very similar though, in terms of the planets. And that's what I mean. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's not much that that alters the spirit or the flavor of the episodes, which I like.
Yeah, there's your difference in asteroids.
But well, and we're gonna have to see what happens at the at Yonata.
Yes, when it makes its recast appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Oh, I think there's a list here that says all the things that got changed. The remastered version features okay, new planet, we saw that. Obelisk deflector beam was digitally recreated. To be red.
It was red in the original? Okay. That makes sense.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Marimani speaks about the blue flame coming out of the obelisk. So this error was corrected for the DVD release, where the beam is once again blue.
The blue flame.
And of course, we just saw the asteroid is redone. All right, so I'm just gonna step through it. Oh,
apparently, this shot of the Enterprise from above was one of a rarity in the original series, and so this was reused from something from a previous season. Mm-hmm. There we go. Oh no, we got the orange beam from the deflector dish. They always say arm the deflectors or engage the deflectors, but they don't say the deflector dish, and you don't see it from the front. But this is, I do like that this is, and in the original, you don't even see it come or like emanating from the ship. And that's a fun sort of detail later on in the with the phasers, is that they sort of flash as opposed to being a consistent beam. No special effects on Marimani. That's natural beauty, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, what you see is what you get.
And I do, yeah. So good. So good. Oh, and we get to see the dilithium cradle in this as well, with the little paddleboard.
The dilithium cradle. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did get to see that again. Oh, I didn't pause it. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Cool. Bye.
I'm sorry. Don't need any special effects on George Takei at all. James Caserta says, loving all the remastered shit, as am I. Oh, and then James Caserta goes on to say, except for that one. All right. Well, there are exceptions in every episode, I suppose. And Stone Racket is performing his brand new single, which will be released on iTunes and Spotify. Mirimani, cry for poor Mirimani and her unborn child. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh man, I got you singing now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I got to do something. My poor bairns. And Franco Walker says, is Jill muted again? I wouldn't start singing if she weren't. Oh, my stars.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, I probably would. I do like,
Okay,
oh,
so
well, they do it in
definitely
both. I didn't realize. I haven't seen the original effects on this episode. I didn't realize that the asteroid actually moved in the original as well, but that's great.
Yeah, it looks like they both have an effect. They move.
They get pushed away. There's a little bit more three-dimensionality to the remaster, but definitely lovely. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
have to
sure,
step
Dave.
away just one more time, and then we'll close out the show. Hold on just a minute.
Ba, 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 mirror money, walking down the street. No, I can't. And yes, Stone Racket says, my bands, my poor bands. It's true. And I think that this is, I don't know, guys, help me out here. Is this like when it goes really overtly Scottish vernacular and slang, or does he like go into, I don't know, regional dialects that cannot be deciphered by North Americans? This is one of the ones that really stands out, though, with the Bairns. Like, I did have to look that up. And James Caserta says, Jill fell asleep again. Yes, and we are all inhabiting her dream. And for that, we thank you, because she would get bored without us. Cam says, Scotty's poor Bairns. Babies get roasted. It's true. But it's, and revisiting, I am enjoying it greatly. And also, speaking of revisiting things, we're gonna go for another less than stellar program, or at least regarded as such by many fans, this coming Friday. A derided threequel, and so it kind of keeps up with the third season theme that we've had going since Star Trek season 3 started. So I'll wait for Jill so that we can let you guys know what's going on Friday. But Taylor Swift, greater than Disney Star Wars, has gifted an Anti-Derivative Jill membership. That is very generous. Thank you, Matt G. That's fantastic. And Stream Elements says that Bone just became a sponsor. I'm not familiar with Stream Elements, but I would like to thank Bone. That's super faboo. And James Caserta says this is just a result of, James Caserta says, result of being in Star Trek heaven. Yes. When Jill falls asleep, we all become her dream, and that is, from what I understand, Star Trek heaven. But yeah, I don't know how Stream Elements and the sponsors work. If I were better at this, then I would investigate, but I'm not, so I won't. I'm hoping everybody is having a delightful, actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but as long as we're playing show and tell, let's see if I can. There we are. Let's see if I can biggie. There we are. Happy Halloween, everybody. I decided that I would wear my Wrath of Khan uniform. I haven't been out in public yet, but I'm intending to, because it's about time for my virginity to grow back. So I am looking forward to that. But I just thought this is the Halloween costume that keeps on giving. And I hope that everyone else is celebrating happily. And if you want to pick one of these up, I'm sure you can find it on the internet.com. Exchange for Quatloos or credits. It's up to you. I'm not sure who Bone is. Has Bone been? Taylor Swift, greater than Disney Star Wars, says, hello. And Franco Walker says, that looks really cool, Scotty. Thanks, man. Again, I'd be curious to hear what you guys are wearing for Halloween, or if you think that Halloween is for children, or if you have children and you've decided to dress them up as your favorite Star Trek characters, just as Jill has decided to make her entire house into cat spa. I think, you know what, I should start going from bar to bar on a Halloween evening and getting myself hypnotic and gin. It's a blue liquor. And then mix it with gin, and then see if anybody wants some Romulan ale. See if anyone's dressed up like Sylvia from Cat Spa. Maybe I can get an Edith Keeler or maybe a Miramani, although I don't think you can walk around in polite society these days dressed up like Miramani. You wouldn't even be able to tell if someone was dressed up as Edith Keeler. It's like, oh, a soup kitchen marm. No, that's not a costume, really. That's just wearing a hat. But I hope that it doesn't get too spooky. Cam says, great costume. Thanks, Cam. I'm, it's an interesting time of year. I used to celebrate much more. And I don't think that there are any more. We've already covered the exclusively Halloween episode.
I'm sorry.
Unless you wanted to go and check out, what's the episode with Beverly Crusher and the ghost candle?
Oh.
We should
Sub
watch
Rosa?
that.
Nobody
Sub
needs to watch
Rosa.
Sub Rosa.
It's a Halloween episode.
I leave and you start promoting Sub Rosa. I guess so. I guess it does have ghosts in it.
It does have ghosts. But yeah. Jill, I was sort of teasing as to what we were going to be checking out on Friday on Bloody Tea Time. I didn't say the name of the movie, though.
Oh, do you want to say the name? You can say the name if you want.
We're going to be watching Alien 3.
Yeah.
Alien 3.
Alien 3, just for Scotty. Matt G says, did you dress up today? I haven't yet, but I will be in my uniform later. So that's that.
You're going to have to post that to your socials.
Yeah, I have to. Now
Yeah,
it's
you must.
required.
It is. You got to show off Halloween costumes. What's the point? Otherwise, you're just a person at home wearing a dress.
I like doing that, though. I hand out candy.
Okay.
And so I'll leave you guys with the preview for next week's episode, The Enterprise Incident. I hope you all enjoyed the review of the Paradise Syndrome and Herc 130's car wash adventure.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Klingon ship. The ship is surrounded, Captain. The surrounded,
Board this ship, I'll blow it up.
I must see your authorization.
Echo.
Accept what is happening. Accept what is happening.
I cannot allow the captain to be destroyed. I say now, Captain Kirk ordered the Enterprise across the neutral zone on his own initiative, on his own craving for glory. He is not sane. He is not sane.
You lie! A small band of Romulans aboard the Enterprise as its commander.
By your own standards of normality, man is not fully competent.
The doctor has now confirmed your testimony.
My instinct for the Vulcan death grip. Your instincts are still good. Captain is dead.
All right, move along. Stop it. Get off of the fucking Get off of the Go outside. Get some food. Outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
Everything had an echo. I don't like having echoes.
True.
No,
do
I
it
can't
again?
have that. Yes, I'm going to do it again.
Parents,
No?
my poor parents.
That's a Klingon ship.
Your ship is surrounded, Captain.
You board this ship, I'll blow it up.
I must see your authorization.
Over there.
Accept what is happening between us.
I cannot allow the captain to be further destroyed. I say now that Captain Kirk ordered the Enterprise across the neutral zone on his own initiative and his craving for glory.
That's a lie.
He is not sane.
You lie! I'll kill you!
You will take a small band of Romulans aboard the Enterprise as its commander.
By your own standards of normality, this man is not fully competent.
No, not now.
The doctor has now confirmed your testimony.
I instinctively used the Vulcan death grip.
Your instincts are still good. The captain is dead.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.